Hello, everyone. This is Lenard Guzman here with Emily Robinson on the Life After D podcast. It is July 6th, 2021, the day after Independence Day. It's like, I don't know what day it is. I think it's Tuesday.
It is. I know it feels so weird when it's a 3-day weekend. But got my spirit going on. 4th of July nails. Got to see some fireworks. Had fun.
Yeah, a lot of families getting together. I know I was in Las Vegas and it was like they had a fireworks show where Las Vegas is now open. And it's weird because when you're in California versus Nevada, things are different. I don't know what's going to happen next. I know, I'm sure as far as families, things are different because I noticed, from people I talk to and friends and family, a lot of people moving out of California. So how does this impact, like, you getting calls like, hey, how does this all work? I know things like people are moving left, right. They're going to Utah, Colorado,
Right.
you name it, out of California. So are you getting a lot of calls?
Yeah, a lot of people are moving out of California and not for like bad reasons. It's because they can't afford to live here. But what that ends up doing is if they're divorced and they want to take the kids with them, that ends up causing a custody battle. So I have been seeing a lot of those lately, actually. And those are the toughest cases because people, they're not moving for a bad reason, but they still want to take the children from the other parent. Not to harm the other parent, but because they need to move because they can't afford it here. So that's a tough situation.
All right, so let's get into the part of the show where we go over the news of the day and see what's going on with divorce. There's always something that comes up with the celebrities. Today looks like we got something from New York. Andrew Cuomo says judges will weigh best interest of pets if Cuomo signs divorce bill. This is interesting. So Fido and Kitty, this is out of NewYorkPost.com. Fido and Kitty could soon have the same legal rights in divorce court as their owners, actual kids. A bill awaiting Governor Andrew Cuomo's signature would require a judge to consider the best interest of a pet before awarding custody to either side in a contentious marital split. Animals are still considered property in New York, but one person is probably better suited to be the final owner. Long Island divorce lawyer Michelle Olson said. Olson, who supports the measure, said that under existing case law, judges generally base their rulings on receipts showing who bought the critter and paid for food, toys, and visits to the vet. In some cases, the decision can even hinge on who has a nicer home with a house and yard, beating out a studio apartment. She said Olson also described a case she handled in which a divorced couple had two dogs, a Maltese and a Maltese poo, that they had agreed to share, only to wind up back in court. Once my client started dating someone, the ex didn't like it. She decided that she was going to get back at him by using the animals. So this is an interesting. Is this like new? So enough people have gone to court for the pets that they have to make this a bill. Is that what it is?
Yeah, this is like the new trend that's going on. In California, it's already the law. So I think other states are picking up on that and doing that as well. And I think people are realizing, animals in a divorce situation have um, a bigger impact than just a piece of property. There's emotional attachments and also you need to consider the care of the animal because there is a lot of animal abuse out there. And so you don't want to put an animal in a bad situation or with someone that can't care for it. And then you're creating more strays possibly and more strain on the government. So, to take care of these pets. And so, I think it's a good thing.
All right, next thing, Social Security. We've heard a few of these. So this one's from NJ.com. I assume it's NewJersey.com. Yeah. So this one is what happens to Social Security after divorce. I'm recently divorced after 25 years of marriage. I'm not sure how Social Security will work. My ex's Social Security is higher because I stayed home to raise our family. I have now been working full time for the last 12 years and do not plan on retiring anytime soon. I guess they put an answer here on how it works. So Social Security is based on the highest 35 years of earnings. Even every year that you continue to work will add to your earnings in as long as they exceed 1,470 per quarter, said Jody Agostini, a certified financial planner. Since you were married more than 10 years, you're entitled to the greater of half of your ex-spouse's benefit or your full benefit. He does not need to have applied to collect on this benefit, and it does not diminish his benefit. You will receive your personal benefit first. He said if your ex's benefit is higher, you will get an additional amount added to your benefit. You need to be at least 62 and divorced for 2 years to be eligible. If you remarry, you will forfeit your ex-spouse's benefit, but would revert to your benefit. However, if your ex-spouse predeceases you could claim a survivor benefit on him. All right, so break it down to more entertaining terms.
Well, Social Security is covered by federal law, so we can't really control what happens with it. So the easy part is we don't have to actually do anything with it in our divorce cases. There's nothing to fight over because the federal law is what controls that. But that is true that you can receive a derivative benefit off of your spouse if you were married for 10 years or more, and it doesn't affect your spouse's amount. They still would get their amount and you would get your derivative benefit. But if you worked, then you have to see what's more, getting their benefit or getting your benefit. But that is a federal thing, and so as long as the federal law exists, then you'll get your Social Security. And that's something that really can't be much of a negotiation tool in divorce, because if the federal law changes, it is what it is.
Okay, so I didn't know this, but I just saw right now Kelly Clarkson is going to replace Ellen on the show.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But she's in our news too. So this is our celebrity gossip. I love this show. I don't know why. I'm just on.
But doesn't Kelly has her own show?
Oh, Kelly, I guess this is going to replace it. So let's get into her divorce stuff. Page6.com, Kelly Clarkson asked judge to declare her legally single amid divorce proceedings. Kelly Clarkson might just be back on the prowl as a talk show host is requested to be declared legally single while finalizing her divorce from Brandon Blackstock, the 39-year-old songstress, and her attorney filed documents obtained by Us Weekly, moving for a separate trial to terminate her marital status. If granted, the stronger singer would legally be considered single while their divorce proceedings continue. The pair of exes will also be expected to meet to resolve issues still pending in their divorce, according to a notice from the court. Clarkson filed for divorce from Blackstock in June 2020 after 7 years of marriage. November 2020 saw Clarkson awarded primary physical custody of the couple's children, daughter River Rose 6 and son Remington Alexander 4, and the Blackstock requested close to $450K a month in spousal support from Clarkson. However, per the couple's prenup agreement, the latter will be an uphill battle as Blackstock is not entitled to spousal support. Let's see. So the hour-long program, hosted by the Grammy Award-winning artist and American Idol, features a mix of celebrity guests and everyday people doing extraordinary things in the community. There's 100% of the country across 200 stations, positioned to headline daytime and leading time periods by fall 2022. So why would she ask for, so how does this work? She wants to be single when they're going through the whole process. What's the benefit of this?
Well, so A lot of times, if your divorce is dragging on because you can't agree on certain issues or you're going to need to go to trial or something, sometimes people just emotionally want to move on. They want to be able to file taxes separately. Maybe they want to get remarried. I mean, there can be a lot of reasons.
Mm.
So you can bifurcate the divorce where you do just the divorce part and deal with the other issues later that are still unresolved. And there can be a lot of reasons for that, but even just emotional closure can be one of them. Or maybe she just wants to start her new show with a fresh start and not be tied to him at all anymore. And in California, those bifurcations are routinely granted and pretty much will always be granted if you ask, except for very limited circumstances. So, you know, he should probably just agree to it. If he won't, they're just probably wasting attorney fees. But, that happens too. People aren't always reasonable.
All right. Okay. So, look, there's not a lot of news today. I don't know if anybody's just just hung over or something from the holiday. So let's get to the part of the show, Dear Emily, where people go, post things online, ask for advice and tips, whether they're in the beginning of the divorce process or they're, asking about child custody. Pet custody is a big thing. So let's see what happens. Let's see what we got today. All right. Trust your intuition. So this is like a happy life after divorce one. I got divorced last August. The grief was intense. I went through 2 major depressive episodes with suicidal ideas through therapy, loads of hard work, support of my friends and family, medication. I got better, and I finally feel like a live person again, rather than a walking shell of myself. Last week, I met with my ex-husband for the first time in months to buy out his share of our property. At the end of the meeting, I finally realized that he has narcissistic traits, major ones. This realization gave me both relief and brought on sadness all over again. I know that some of the community members were rightfully say, do not diagnose people as narcissists. Sometimes as a-holes, it's just an a-hole and there's nothing clinical or subclinical going on. However, I want to say to all the people who have intuitive feeling that something is off with their partner, trust yourself and your intuition. My intuition saved me. My ex comes off as a non-threatening, calm person in the beginning of our relationship. He was caring, loving. I felt like finally found someone who just got me. I felt so lucky. Fast forward 6 years later, I realized he has major issues with empathy. He discards people. He gaslights. So let's see. To all the people going through separation, divorce with difficult people, believe yourself, your intuition. If you're feeling drained, if you feel hurt, cannot pinpoint where your anxiety is coming from, create distance, safeguard your boundaries, test your perception of reality, tell people you trust, family and friends about what you're going through. Your gut is there to protect you. Believe it.
Well, that's good advice. I mean, I think trusting your gut and your intuition is really important in divorce situations because even though, you have to make a lot of financial and business type decisions, there's emotional decisions too. And a lot of people have a strong intuition and a high emotional intelligence. And you just know when your gut tells you what's right. So I think trusting your gut is good advice.
All right, next one. This one's just getting started. Just asked for a divorce. We've been married for 34 years. The last 5 years, he's been on disability. The emotional abuse, control, and manipulation finally got to me. He had spent the last 2 days crying and accusing me of everything. I took accountability for my part of the issues. I stated I don't want anything from him, and I just want to buy him out. Feels it felt like a great sense of relief, but today I'm overwhelmed with guilt. I want to just cry buckets. When I asked if he wanted to talk, he said he was done talking with me, and this was his decision. My Christian friends have Called me scum, said I would die alone and Jesus would kick me out of heaven. This didn't help the situation or my emotional state. Does your emotional state ever get better?
Yeah, it's so tough. But I mean, yes, of course it does. At the beginning and when you're going through it, it's the hardest time. But I see people come out on the other end all the time, and your emotional state does get better. It can take a long time, and it can be a tough road, but yes, it does get better. It does.
All right, this next one, another getting started. I'm currently 19, male. When I was 16, I got with a 25-year-old female. This was illegal in Florida. Um, I went through some stuff and at home and kept doing it. She got pregnant, gave birth when I was 17. We got married when I was 18, even though I knew I shouldn't. I felt bad denying her something she wanted so badly. I worked two full jobs since I was 16 so she could stay home. As I matured, as I felt matured mentally, I talked to my friends and family, and realizing how wrong the situation was. I don't feel like a victim because I was half of the situation, but on the other hand, she never should have gone with a 16-year-old. I know I would have risked going to prison for 15 years. We're getting divorced now, and her dad wants her to get a lawyer. Um, what should I do?
Wow. Well, it sounds like if they're getting divorced and she's getting a lawyer, and that's kind of an intense situation, um, I would always recommend you talk to a lawyer too. You don't have to hire one necessarily or even end up, using a lawyer, but it is always good to get initial legal advice. And you can do it, a lot of times get a free consultation. So it wouldn't even cost anything. Or even if you have to pay for a couple sessions with a lawyer, a lot of lawyers do consulting where you can just ask them questions as needed if you can't afford a full lawyer. But definitely would recommend consulting with a lawyer.
All right, next one. This one's a divorce when spouse's family lives out of state. We're in the early stages of what could potentially lead to divorce. It's something that we talked about, though neither of us is ready to go that far yet. We're still trying. One thing that has come up when we talk about is living arrangement. She grew up out of state, and her family and best friends still live there. That's where her support system is. If we got a divorce, she'd want to move back. Well, we have a young child, and I want to do 50-50, so that obviously complicates things. Um, has anyone else been in this situation where one person doesn't have any reason to stay in the current location, if not for being married to you?
Wow. Well, that's kind of what we were talking about earlier. Um, I mean, the reason to stay is because your child's other parent is there. But um, yeah, this happens a lot. And then the court has to decide. The court can't stop you from moving. You have a constitutional right to move. So the only thing the court can decide is the child moving with you or staying with the other parent? And that's up to the court. And it can go either way, depending on what the court thinks in that situation. So the best thing the parents can do is try to find a way that they can live near each other or to work out, you know, the best custody plan that they can while living in two different places. And maybe that's one parent has more time in the summer and holidays, but those are some of the hardest situations. They do happen a lot.
I can't like if it's like Las Vegas to LA, I think like the middle, like Barstow or like Death Valley, like those. Are, I don't know. I don't know if you want to like meet halfway. You figure it out.
I know. But and a lot of times it's hard. What are you going to do halfway? Like then you got to like spend your whole weekend in Barstow or something. So it's bad. Sometimes in those situations it'd be better to fly the kids back and forth or something like that. But I've seen parents move to be near the other parent. Like they'll follow them because they want to be near the kids.
All right, so that's the last post we have for the day. Emily, I know we're in is it summer? It's like officially summer. The
It's
kids,
officially summer.
yeah. So if, you have kids, I have nieces and nephews who are just they're I don't know what's going on with kids. They're going to I don't know, amusement parks are open now.
Yeah, most camps are open, amusement parks, family vacations. Most things are open again, even like Chuck E. Cheese and like the places where kids run around. So kids have a lot to do this summer.
All right, so anything you're hearing from court or anything, or things are opening up? What's the best
Um,
thing to do for people?
yeah, the mask requirement just went away in Ventura. In LA, the mask requirement's still there, but the social distancing requirement went away. There's still going to be Zoom hearings, at least for a while, but that may change soon. But hopefully they will keep the technology available for people that want to do it still, because it does definitely make things easier. But yeah, it's getting back to normal a year and a half later.
Yeah, it's better. I mean, gas here in California just feels like it just keeps going up and up and up and up.
Yeah, our gas prices are insane. Ugh. Well, that's another reason to want to do Zoom and work from home.
Yeah. So everyone tune in next week, and we'll go over more gas prices and see if it. I think they'll go down the fall. So so everyone just stay
I
home
hope.
until the fall. All right. So that's all we have for today. Thank you so much for joining us on the Life After D podcast. See you next week. Bye-bye.